All right, so you're getting ready for that chemical engineering interview.
And we're here to help you prep with some awesome insights from RoleCatcher
We're going to dive deep into some of those common questions they might ask you.
and give you the tools to really impress.
So let's start with a classic. What inspired you to become a chemical engineer? It seems simple enough.
But it's a chance to share your story.
Yeah, what sparked that passion for this field?
Was it a specific project, maybe a mentor who inspired you, or even something from your childhood?
I love that, like a childhood fascination with how things work. And actually, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze job descriptions
Yeah.
and suggest ways to tailor your answer
Oh, that's so cool.
to highlight those skills and experiences that specific employer is looking for.
So, for example, if a job description really emphasizes sustainability, RoleCatcher might suggest you talk about a project where you reduced waste
Right.
in a chemical process.
That's so smart. Okay, moving on to another common one.
Yeah.
How do you approach problem solving? Chemical engineering is all about tackling those complex challenges.
It really is.
So they want to see a structured approach.
Absolutely. Think about a real-world example. Let's say heat exchanger fouling,
Yeah.
a common problem in many chemical processes. Walk them through those steps.
Yeah.
Analyzing the data, identifying the root cause like scaling or corrosion, and outlining your plan to fix it.
That's a great example. It shows you can think critically. And you know what else RoleCatcher can do?
What's that?
It can actually provide feedback on your answers,
No way!
suggesting ways to make them even stronger.
So cool.
More specifics like personal coach
Wow.
in your pocket.
I love that.
So speaking of specific questions, let's get into a question that really showcases your technical expertise.
Okay, let's hear it.
What experience do you have designing and implementing chemical processes?
All right, this is where those university projects come in.
Yes, those internships.
Don't be afraid to get into the details.
Like what specific process were you designing?
Yeah.
What challenges did you face and how did you overcome them?
They want to see those problem-solving skills
Got it.
in action.
Got it.
For example, you could talk about designing a distillation column.
Okay.
Talk about the calculations you did, the software you used, the steps you took to optimize the whole process.
Highlight those technical skills
Absolutely.
and show that you can apply them.
to real-world problems.
Real problems. Now, safety is huge in chemical engineering.
Oh, for sure.
They might ask, how do you ensure safety and compliance in your work?
This is where you show them your knowledge of regulations
Yeah.
and commitment to maintaining a safe environment.
So you could mention your Hazewoper training,
Right.
which focuses on hazardous waste operations and emergency response.
Essential for safety in lots of roles.
Okay, great point. Now, shifting gears a bit,
Sure.
let's talk quality control.
Okay.
They might ask you, how do you ensure quality control in your work as a chemical engineer?
Here's where you showcase your attention to detail
Yeah.
and your commitment to delivering top-notch products.
So you could talk about Six Sigma, for instance.
Exactly.
A data-driven approach to eliminating defects and improving processes.
And you can even back that up with specific examples. Maybe you've got experience with statistical process control
Right.
or developing standard operating procedures for consistency and quality.
Great points. And again, RoleCatcher can really help here.
Definitely.
Identify which experiences and skills matter most for the job you're going for.
Right.
Okay, let's move to another one that often comes up.
Sounds good.
How do you approach project management in your work?
All right, this is all about organization, planning, and execution.
Okay.
Think about projects you've led and how you applied those skills.
So defining the scope,
Yeah.
setting timelines,
Mhm.
managing resources,
Exactly. And you can mention different methodologies you've used.
like Agile
Yeah.
or Waterfall.
Exact.
Briefly explain how you've used them effectively.
And don't forget to highlight those successes, too.
Oh yeah, those wins.
Did you deliver a project ahead of schedule?
Reduce costs.
Prove efficiency.
Those are the things that'll make an impression.
For sure.
Absolutely. Now, chemical engineers often work in these collaborative environments.
They do.
So they might ask, how do you approach collaboration and communication with cross-functional teams?
This is about showing you can work well with others.
Yeah, and people from different backgrounds.
Think about times you've worked effectively with engineers from other disciplines or even teams outside of engineering, like marketing.
Yeah, or even sales.
You want to show them you can communicate clearly, manage expectations.
And resolve those conflicts constructively.
Did you use any specific tools or strategies for collaborating?
Like project management software or regular team meetings.
Those are great examples.
And you could even mention adapting your communication style to different audiences.
Make sure everyone's on the same page.
Okay, one more before we move on.
All right, hit me.
Sustainability is a hot topic,
It is.
and they might ask, How do you approach developing and implementing sustainability initiatives in your work as a chemical engineer?
Here's your chance to showcase your passion for the environment
Yeah.
and your understanding of sustainable practices.
Did you work on projects that reduced waste or emissions?
Mm-hmm.
Did you explore renewable resources?
Maybe you help implement energy-efficient technologies.
So, for example, let's say you worked on a project to optimize a chemical process to reduce its carbon footprint.
That's fantastic. You can talk about the steps you took, the challenges you faced, and the impact it had on the environment.
It shows your commitment to those sustainable engineering practices.
It does.
Okay, that was a lot of questions.
It was a whirlwind.
But remember, the key is to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Think about those specific examples
Yeah,
that showcase your skills.
that's right.
And use RoleCatcher's AI to tailor your answers for each job you're applying for.
It's a game changer. Okay, so let's keep going.
Yeah, let's do it. What else do we need to know to really ace this thing?
Well, they'll often want to hear about how you've handled real-world problems.
Okay.
A question like, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot and solve a complex problem in your work as a chemical engineer? That's a good one to be ready for.
So those moments when things go wrong and you have to put those problem-solving skills to the test?
Exactly. Think of a time a process wasn't working, or maybe there was a technical issue during a project.
Okay. I'm thinking of some examples from my internship. What's the best way to answer that?
I would focus on walking them through your thought process.
Okay.
How did you analyze the problem? What were the steps to identify the root cause? Did you use any special tools or techniques?
So it's not just I fixed it.
Right.
It's about how you got there.
Exactly. Show off your analytical skills.
Okay.
And don't forget those details.
Like what data did you look at?
Yeah, what changes did you make? Did you work with others to find the solution?
Got it. Specifics and teamwork. Now, what about project management? I'm guessing that's a big part of the job.
It is. They might ask something like, how do you approach project management in your work as a chemical engineer?
So demonstrating that I can plan and organize and actually execute those projects.
Exactly. Think about projects you've led or been a part of.
Okay.
How did you define the scope? Set those timelines, manage resources. Did you use a certain methodology like agile or waterfall?
Got it. So I need to know those project management principles and methodologies.
Yeah, and highlight those successes too.
Why what?
Did you improve efficiency,
Okay.
reduce costs, deliver ahead of schedule, quantify those achievements whenever you can?
Give me an example.
So instead of I improved efficiency, you could say, I implemented a process improvement that reduced production time by 15%.
Ah, okay. I see. Using those numbers. That's really helpful. I'm seeing how RoleCatcher's AI can help here
Oh, for sure.
by tailoring my answers to highlight those skills that are most relevant to each job.
Exactly. It's all about hitting the mark.
Speaking of hitting the mark, let's talk about quality control. How would I answer? How do you ensure quality control in your work as a chemical engineer?
This is all about attention to detail,
Right.
making sure those products meet certain standards.
Right.
You'd want to show you understand quality control principles and methods.
So things like Six Sigma
Yes,
and my experience with statistical process control
that's it.
or developing those standard operating procedures.
Exactly.
What about specific examples? Could I talk about a time when I found a quality issue and fixed it?
Absolutely. A real-life example would definitely impress them.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So we've talked about individual skills,
Yeah.
but I know chemical engineers don't work alone.
Right. Teamwork is key.
How can I show that I can work well in a team?
Well, they might ask something like, how do you approach collaboration and communication with cross-functional teams?
So showcasing my people skills and working with those from different disciplines.
Exactly. Think about those times you've had to work with engineers from other areas,
Okay.
or even teams outside of engineering completely.
Yeah, I've worked with mechanical engineers before.
Okay.
Even marketing teams on projects.
Perfect. What are some key things to highlight there?
Well, clear communication for sure.
Absolutely.
Managing expectations.
Yes.
Resolving conflicts in a constructive way. And adapting my communication style to different people.
That's so important, making sure everyone's on the same page.
For example, I can talk about using project management software to keep everyone organized.
Okay.
Or having regular team meetings.
Yeah, to keep those lines of communication open.
Exactly.
Excellent examples.
They are. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit.
Sounds good.
Let's talk about sustainability.
All right.
This is getting more and more important.
It is. I'm really interested in sustainable engineering. What kind of questions can I expect?
Well, they might ask, how do you approach developing and implementing sustainability initiatives in your work as a chemical engineer?
Okay, so I'd want to showcase my passion for the environment,
Yes.
And my knowledge of sustainable practices. Precisely. Have you worked on projects to reduce waste or emissions? Maybe helped implement energy-efficient technologies?
Actually, I did work on a project to optimize a chemical process to use less water.
That's fantastic. You could talk about the steps you took, the challenges, and the impact it had.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Be prepared with those specific examples.
Yes. Show them what you know.
Show them what I can do. And even if I haven't worked on large-scale sustainability projects,
Right.
I can still talk about how much I care about sustainability.
Absolutely. And your commitment to making it part of your work.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of questions.
We have.
What else can RoleCatcher offer to help me feel ready for this interview?
Well, beyond question prep, RoleCatcher has great resources for understanding the bigger picture of your chemical engineering career.
Okay, so we've covered all those tough interview questions.
But there's more to it than just acing the interview.
Right, like what happens after? What does a successful career in chemical engineering actually look like?
That's where RoleCatcher's career guides come in. They give you this really cool insight to different career paths and help you see where you could go in this field.
So it's not just about getting the job.
Right.
It's about planning for the future.
Exactly. They break it down into stages from entry-level to senior positions,
Okay.
highlighting those typical responsibilities and skills needed at each level.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for someone just starting out.
It's like a roadmap, you know?
Yeah.
You can see all the different directions your career could take.
Like going into management?
Yeah, or specializing in a specific area like process design.
Or even research and development.
Exactly.
I'm really interested in process optimization.
Oh, cool.
Combining those technical skills with efficiency.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher can help you figure out those steps to get there.
Got it.
Maybe it's a certain certification
Got
or
it.
experience in a particular industry.
Speaking of certifications,
Yeah.
the guides mention how important those credentials are.
For sure.
Like becoming a professional engineer or a certified chemical engineer.
They can show your expertise and that you're committed to growing professionally.
And that's important as you move up.
Definitely. And remember, RoleCatcher also talks about networking.
Right.
Connecting with others in your field can be so valuable.
Yeah, but it can be kind of intimidating.
It can be. But RoleCatcher has tools to help you
Okay, good.
to use your existing connections and even build new ones.
It's all about relationships, right?
It is. Learning from those who've been there before you.
So what does all of this mean for our listener as they start their chemical engineering journey?
It means they have a ton of resources
Yeah.
and guidance thanks to RoleCatcher.
They can go into that interview feeling confident and prepared.
For sure.
Not just to answer those tough questions,
Right.
but also with a plan for their future.
Exactly. And as they move forward in their career, they can keep using RoleCatcher to face those challenges, make smart decisions,
Yeah.
and achieve those goals.
One last thought as you step into the world of chemical engineering.
Embrace the challenges.
Okay.
Never stop learning and know that you can make a real difference.
Yes. Making a difference in shaping a more sustainable and innovative future.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the exciting world of chemical engineering.
It was our pleasure.
Best of luck in that interview.
You got this.
And in your future career.